welcome back. I'm KungfuBeer, and we are setting you up for success in the Mateo Community Server Run 8 Skills Check version 2. So what we have today is a collection of things that we can ask you to show us. I'm going to walk you through kind of the basics of that now. I'm not going to get into too much detail for you, but we're going to get started with all the different things that you might need to know, and it should all just revolve around your basic train handling. I got other videos for that. This one, we're going to focus on getting you familiar with the skills check version 2 that we're kicking off right now. So stay tuned. Let me show you what's up. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back. I don't know if we are going to provide these for you or not. I figured this would help. We have the skills check scenario, be 2 files. I'll show you those here. And then we have the PDF that explains the things that we're looking for. And of course, on screen right now, I have the scenario extra board locations that I made. So when we click on them, they'll take you to each of the locations automatically so that you can show us things. We're right here at the LS906, but let's say we wanted to go somewhere else. We'll come back here in a minute. But if we wanted to go, for example, to this C bar stow, we'll just click on it and we'll hit load, provided that you have both files in your trains directory of your SoCal. It'll bring you right there to where you need to go. So we're at Cliff, and let me show you how to get this thing going. This is a simple train. We're going to be going downhill from here, but we got to get things going. We got to get things fired up. So it talks about make sure auto's enabled. Now on the server, this will never be available to you. Engage all auto routes. So don't use it from here. Just simply go to your F3 menu. If it's not up here, hit F1. You need to go to the sub where we are. We are actually in the Mojave general base game here. So we'll just go to the Mojave DS mat. Then we're going to turn auto DS on, or auto dispatcher screen. So auto is now on right here. It's green. The only thing we don't ever want to see you do is slam on the brakes using the emergency controlled parking brake thing. I think it's F5 or shift F5. I don't remember which one it is because I don't use that rail driver. However, for you, don't use that. Everything else, though, feel free. So I'm going to go on the lead locomotive. I'm going to start all locomotives. I'm going to auto MU. I'm going to auto CB, which is circuit breakers, and auto air brakes. And since we're driving on the main line here, this is the only time that I do auto ET is when I'm going to go on the main line. If I'm in the yard, you never auto ET. I'm going to check my engine in here as the lead. I'm in run. All my brakes are currently on, but we're going to get to that in a minute. But everything is running. The headlights are burning dim. That's where we want it. We'll go inside the cab and continue from there. All right, we're inside the cab now. So the handbrake's on. If I remove it, all the cars are going to start slamming together, and their brakes are going to be a problem. We've got, if I look at this brake thing here, I think it's Shift Z on yours. If we look at the brakes, we see that the locomotives have their independent brakes on. The rest of the cars have air and no coupler pressure or anything like that. It's because the handbrakes are on. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to bring up our DPU screen. You guys are going to have to do that on your own time. Figure out the keyboard here and which one brings up the MDU screens, MFD screens. Here it says left shift Z and stuff. So I have a rail driver, I cheat, so I'm going to do that. And then this way I can see the DPU, which is the very back engine. It's remote controlled. Since we're going downhill, I can choose to fence it, but I'm not going to do that here because I don't need the DPUs to be pushing or pulling right now. It's not that steep. Instead, I'm going to put some brakes on. So I'm applying the train brake. I'm going to start with 15 pounds. That means there'd be about 5 pounds of pressure on the brakes. Now I have to wait until the middle of the train is at 75. The rear of the train is, but that's because we have locomotives back there. And the front of the train is 75 because we have locomotives up here. So now we're going to wait till the main comes on down and equalizes. And I'll be right back when that happens. All right, so if we look at our brake screen at the top, back from the inside of the cab, you can see that All my couplers are looking pretty good here. The top line's the couplers. The bottom line is the air brakes through all the cars. You can see that we have 15 pounds applied, so it's showing you that there's some brake pressure applied, but the locomotives on both front and back currently have the independent brake on. So I'm going to go ahead and put the, well, you have a DPU comm issue right now too, because the tunnel, see this light right here, goes away. So that means the DPU will not respond when we are doing commands. So that you have to be careful with when you're dealing with tunnels and hills. ODS is on, and we're going to request, since we're in forward, right here, we want to make sure, I'm all over the place looking, I want to make sure that he lets us go forward. Got a red light, 2 reds, do not pass. We're going to request a signal. And we are BNSF 9340 here. Got a green. So we are going to only want 1 notch. We are going to be going downhill, and some of the train already is. So we're going to ease into this. I'm waiting for the DPU right now to kind of, there it is. DPU's got the same load on both sides. That means we should evenly distribute. And with the automatic brake, or the train brake, this one in red with 15 pounds on it, I'm going to slowly come off on the independent brake, the locomotive brake. Nice and slow. You can see the BC, or brake cylinder. You see it coming down right there. As soon as I get all the way off down to 0, see we're starting to slowly roll. And again, we have 15 pounds, so the rear of the train's moving. We look up, everything's looking good here. Nice and slow. You're hearing the brakes squeal a bit because we have the 15 pounds on. And now I'm going to bleed or bail off on the locomotive brakes to get all the air out of the locomotives. We're now rolling. 15 pounds on, 16 actually. I'm going to go ahead and start utilizing some dynamic brakes. Now you can fence if you want to. I'm going to try this without fencing. Kind of shotgun off to the start there as we were coming out of the green light. That's how we get going on a downhill start without breaking anything. If you are not up to the task, we also don't have our brights on. We should have our brights on the main line. You guys aren't prepared for this and you haven't practiced a lot, don't take the train. It'll affect other people. Server could crash. We'll move on to the next one. Be right back. All right, now we're over here at LCal 0103. It's served by CP Gomez, just outside of the Bakersfield yard. This scenario has us picking up these cars and taking them to the Bakersfield yard. So this will be a quick one, real easy to do. I'll show you how to do it. That wasn't hard at all. Put a handbrake on and shut the engines off. Okay, now we're here at the LS906J. It's the Button, Willow Branch, and Kern. We have these SJVR engines. The idea of this is that you come in, you want to work something over here, and then you look, oh, what are these cars? These cars are blocking, and there's some problems here. So what are you going to do? Well, we need to unblock this, so let's work that. Here's how we do that. This means that this should be this color when you're looking at it from this direction. Always. Unless you need to manipulate it, and then set it back when you're done. That's all there is to it. Any questions? All right, we're here at Mojave Yard. This is the light engine move, or the E, MJ, which is Mojave, to NP, which is North Platte, Texas. I think it's Texas. The date is 15, but that's all right. If we look at the tags here, can't barely see them because they're green. So this one's a little bit tricky. This is a light engine move. We don't need all the units turned on, so let's not do that. Instead, we're just going to start the first two, but we are going to, because it's easier, we're going to start the first one first, and then I'm going to auto MU. Then I'm going to start the second one, but I'm going to make the second one the short hood trail. This was the long hood, this is the short hood, so that's the trailing MU. The rest are just going to be acting as cars. It is going to be heavy. Let's see if we can, 886 feet, but because we have no cargo, it doesn't calculate the tons for us. I wish it would. We are only running the first two locomotives. I have the independent brake on full. So I am going to release the handbrakes now since the independent brakes are on. We'll see a little bit of shifting, or hear a little bit of shifting back here. Mojave's on a grade. So this is an interesting move. It's not hard because they're all locomotives that have stronger knuckles, I think. But let's get our brights on here, because we are going to be going down the main line. We do need an EOT, so I'm going to do an auto EOT there. Actually, let me turn the lights on here until we get permission from auto to proceed. So let me get in the cab. So we're going to ask auto for routing. Let me turn on my internal switch lights here. I'm going to go into gear. We have 90 on the rear right now, so the locomotive, the train brake, the automatic brake is released. But we do have the locomotive brakes on. We also want to disconnect the MU. We don't need any of these ones back here communicating with the front end. So let's ask auto to go. Let's get out of here. All right, so I was having an issue where I couldn't get it to move for me right away. I did go through and isolate all the engines, but it's still, nothing was moving. It was trying to go and trying to go. So what I did is I just hit auto CV, auto air brake again, and then that's all I need to do. So let's take her off out of here. Brights going on, green light. Let's give her notch 2, notch 3 to try to get her up over the hill, and gotta get it ready to slow down right away though. Coming off on the independent brake, and there we go. So I'm gonna go back into notch 2 because we're gonna start hitting the going downhill here. So as soon as I get to the signal, come off the notch. We're not out of the yard yet, so we want to stay at 15 or less. I'm at 12 now. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the dynamics. We are now routed. Here's a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. So once the train passes that, I can hit 70. For now, we have standard 15 until the rear of the train passes that. Here we rail fan. Maintaining our speed is what's important. We have routing. If we look, we see that we are right here. We're headed over towards Ansel. So we're going to Ansel, which continues right down here, and we have a stop just after the siding at Ansel. So we're at 12 and a half or 13 miles an hour, letting it speed up a little bit. There we go. Okay, now we're in the inspection yard, and this one is really about using auto correctly to leave the yard. We have problems where people end up down the Mojave instead of the Cajon Pass if you're BNSF from Barstow. So that's a problem because that's the wrong place. So let's take a look at this locomotive, and it says tag me right here. So most of these cars are going to RIC. Where's RIC, you ask? Well, for that, we open another document. It's on the depot server.com. It is under maps, and it's the SoCal off-route destinations map. You get two colors, black or white. I have the black one here. And Rick, RIC, that departs Barstow towards the Mojave sub and out to the Bakersfield sub. So Rick is going that way, and of course, this other one is LAC, so that is going to go down to the Los Angeles area, so that's going to have to go down Cajon, down to the San Bernardino sub afterwards. So we need to tag these to go the correct direction, contact auto, and then see if they get going. So which one of these do we want to do? Well, you could practice doing both. I've done the LA one a million times. Let's see if we can get this to go to Mojave. This one is Rick, so this is... it's a manifest train. Rick is off map, so it can be an M instead of an H. H is player driven. M is a that can be AI'd. And we're at Bar, and we're going to Rick, and we'll put in today's date. For me, it's the 31st of May. I always do this because this is how it always was here in the Mateo Community Server. When trains spawn randomly, they have none. We always put X as the additional power, so you don't have to do that. That's something I do. So if you see X, that's all it means. It's just it's not a lead unit. The tag is important on the lead unit. So we're in the inspection tracks here. Check to see if this has a job before you AI it, obviously, because if it's somebody brought it here for players to run, then we don't want to AI it because they did all the work to bring it here and to create the job post and all that. It's just a waste of time for everybody if you just AI it out. If there is no job and it's in the inspection tracks here, reach out and ask the yardmaster if you can send it AI. Any yardmaster. So I'll put the lights on dim here. And the point of this exercise is to request a route from Auto. Auto DS is on, but for the map, we're in the Mojave one right now, not the Barstow one. So we have to hit F3 to get over to the Barstow map. We are right here on the inspection tracks. We have to switch this. Notice I turned it blue and back to white. Make sure you change it back to white after you're done manipulating the switches, or we're going to have a problem with Auto being able to turn those switches. If I decide I don't want to throw these switches, I can literally leave it like that because these are CTC switches. So first thing we got to do is make sure that the dispatcher is on, and I just hit F1. Make sure that it's on. I can hit F1 if I want that other, but F1 tells it's on. Now we can tone out and request permission to leave the yard. Or a signal. Yeah, he just says, this one says request signal. If you're in the outbound yard, you would get permission to leave the yard. You're asking for a signal either way. So he gave me a signal indication for BNSF 7226. So here we go. So we're going to pull forward. Okay, so if we look at the map, Auto is actually routing us out to Mojave. That's exactly where we wanted to go. So let's go ahead, and we have a signal there in front of us. I do have DPUs on this, and they are responding. I'm not on any crazy hill, so I don't need to fence it or anything. So there's our whistle. Lights go to brights. That's the first one. That's us getting out of here. Now while this train's getting out of here, we're going to get this one ready to go to LAC, Hobart. So we're going to verify the tagging. So this is an intermodal, so it could be one of the many intermodals. I'm gonna choose S for a double stack train. And this is at Bar, and it's going to LAC. And again, today's the 31st. The date is not required, but we like to put it, so just put it. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not required. You won't get in trouble if you don't put it. We do want to verify our loads. So this one has mid DPUs and nothing on the rear. So this is a modern day intermodal S Bar LAC 31. Let me put an EOT on it. Because we are hitting the road. That's the only time you put the EOTs on if you're going to be on the road, on the main. At 89 on the rear, I just applied my independent brake. We can't go anywhere because this train here is in our way. I see the rear, and again, there's no engine on the rear. This is cars, so I can release the handbrakes. They'll stay right where they're at. Now, when we route this guy, we can actually ask, will be put in a queue. But it'll say, I can't route you because there's a train in front of you. And like, okay, well, we'll wait. So we'll ask Otto now, since we already know he's on because that guy just left. I'm going to request a signal. And he's going to come right back and say, I can't route you right now. You said, okay, BNSF 609061. So he didn't say, okay, you have a signal on signal indication. He just said, okay. That means we're in the queue, and he'll signal us when he's ready. We need to go down LA, so we're not going to follow this train out over through here to Hinckley. Instead, we're going to come out, and we are going to go on, I mean, he could even route us on one of these two tracks. And then we'll be looking for a signal in front of us. This guy here should change when it's our turn. BNSF 0961, you can see it right here. This train has how many miles on it? 252,000, that's it. It's a young guy. All right, look. We have an approach here. So we're gonna get some speed going, I hope. We're starting to come off. I got the independent off. Bright's going on. So we have the approach here with the red following it up here. So we cannot proceed past this until that other guy is out of there, and then we get the proceed signal. So let's see. We know we're only routed to here, by the way. I'm going to try to slow her down to a slow crawl. That guy's passing the opposite signal up there. Should hopefully be out of the way. Just a moment, waiting on Otto. Okay, now we have our signal. So now we can head out. Let's check first. Make sure that we're good to go. We should also save our train. Load, save, train. And this is an S Bar LAC 31. I'm going to save that train so that I now have a copy of this train in case something were to happen. This is our signal here. We're clear. It's not a clear signal, but it's an advanced approach. But this one here is not ours. This comes off this track here. So we cannot exceed 15 miles an hour until our last car is out of the yard. So as soon as I hit the main, which is right here, as soon as I hit that, I'm going to start a countdown distance timer, if you will. And once the last car is out, then we are good to go. But we are clear all the way to the CP Linwood. So that's a couple miles. So then we got two trains out of here. Countdown timer now at this switch. 6,200, about 6,300 feet to go. And that's all she wrote. So for the Mateo Community Server and all the Yardmasters, thank you for watching this video. We hope it will help you pass your skills check, which is not very difficult. I said there's some levels of difficulty in there. We can help you through it. As long as you've practiced this stuff, we can help you get through it if you're having problems with it. So don't worry about it. We just want to make sure that you don't crash the server, that you know at least a few of these things. Well, all of the things that we're going through here. We want to help you get through it. But you have to do the hard work. It's all on you. And then you're coming to show us what you know. That's all you got to do. Follow this video. You'll be good. You'll be all set. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in your skills check, and then we'll see you on the server.